You're now tuned into the Detailed Did It podcast. Come catch a fade.
God damn, boy, what's that? Some kind of weed or something?
Welcome YouTube world. If you are watching, this is the Detailed Did It podcast. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, you make sure you hit that subscribe button, click like, make sure you hit the little bell on the side so as soon as we drop these exclusive videos, you'll be the first one to get notified with it. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for the platform. This is where we want to just like get everybody in the city involved with the movement. But before we get started, I want to let y'all know basically what the Detailed Did It podcast is about. First of all, you are what you eat, right? So in the Detailed Did It podcast, we're serving food for thought in order to feed our spirits. So I'm gonna let you marinate on that. And our mission today, and period for this podcast and for this platform, our goal for this platform is to awaken 100,000 people to their true selves in the efforts to evolve the masses and push the culture forward through analytical thinking and realizing of the self-worth. We will provide the tools for our listeners to gain control of their minds by waking up and living a well-rounded, balanced life through self-awareness and social consciousness collectively. When I say collectively, that means everybody. So, with that being said, again, welcome to the Detailed Did It podcast. I'm Detail, your host.
I'm Lizzie.
Who?
Lizzie.
I can't hear you.
Liz the Biz.
Liz with the biz. Right. And to my right,
Lord Anthony Surratt.
man, it's going down. How y'all feeling tonight?
Lovely.
Great.
Lovely. It's this is episode 21.
Yes.
Dang.
21.
Remember episode 2?
No, I don't.
I
You
do.
know what I'm saying? You do?
I was on
Wow.
episode 2.
That's real. Oh, that's right. Okay. That's
Yeah.
real. That's real, man. Well, before we actually really get started, I want to let y'all know where we broadcasting from. Of course, we are broadcasting here live from the South Crown Barbershop here on 1010 South Flores, Suite 118, best barbershop in the city, and we're located in the beautiful up-and-coming Southtown San Antonio. So if you don't know about it, get with it. We got the Blue Star, all that good stuff. And we're also located right next to our guys, Southtown Vinyl, and a new company that just opened up, and they're called GJ Gardner and Gardner Homes. And what they do is they specialize in custom homes and all that good stuff. And I don't have the date for you now, but they have pretty soon they're going to be having a grand opening. And it's going to be bananas. It's going to have music, food, artists, all kind of stuff. But anyway, we'll get back. We'll keep y'all posted on that. What else we got? Make sure you guys subscribe to our podcast channel. Plus, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We love you. We appreciate the feedback and the comments. We will definitely get back with you on that. And make sure you guys also stay tuned. Don't be getting in and getting out. Stay tuned because I got a question that I'm gonna ask later on that has to do with the last podcast for our true people that are truly tuning in, and it'll be an opportunity for you guys to win a T-shirt.
No, a free haircut.
A free hair. Oh, I'm getting a free haircut.
Yeah.
Oh shit, y'all really winning. So that's right. Correct.
Free cut
That's
for
that
you
one.
or who's
free
cutting?
Free cut for me or any barber here of choice. You know what I mean? It's South Crown, so it's all, a king or a queen will cut your hair. That you know that much. But if you want the kid, yours truly cut your hair, I got you. Alright? So anyway, I also want to go ahead and give a shout out to you guys, man. Anthony, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Like,
Appreciate
for real,
that.
like-
No. I appreciate you. Pick anybody to sit next to you and do all this.
No, I could not. Not when I do what I do. I don't just pick anybody, man. It's just a specific reason. But I'm just glad to see like what I thought and what I saw in you and what I thought you would bring to what I'm trying to create is you're actually going on beyond and above that. And I know that from the feedback that I get from my friends and people that, tune in and tell me, yo, that dude, bro, he be throwing the haymakers in that joint.
I'm just here to hang out and chime in and speak on.
No, but again, I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Thanks.
No, it's for Lizzie.
I receive that. Lizzie, I know it is. Thank you so much. You are in this joint, barber, co-host, everything we need. You rise to the occasion. You don't play no games. You young, on fire, lives with the biz. You didn't get with it. Get with the program.
Thank you.
So, no, thank you, man. You're an awesome individual. Zay, cameraman, the Rich Life, thank you for always being here, bro. Even when I'm an hour behind schedule. You know what I'm saying? You got shit to do. This is Dad's birthday, you know what I'm saying? So like I really kind of feel shitty. So yeah, shout out to Mr. Gunn, man. Like, you know, real talk, man. We do appreciate your time and all that good stuff. Because, you know, time is something you can't get back. You can get money back, you can get another wife, you can get new life, you can get new anything, but you can't get time back. So, you know, when one gives their time for you, you need to be appreciative. And I just want to take the time out and say I appreciate all y'all and everybody that's making this shit possible. Especially the patrons, everybody tuning in, all the people that I call up and say, come get on the show, they don't hesitate. Thank you all for doing that, because we are really trying to push the culture forward, trying to, you know, embrace who we really are from within and have fun and like just do it till we can't do it no more. So y'all ready to get along with, you ready to get on with this show? Am I on the right page? What we got? Page 3. Let's stay on top of the game, you know what I'm saying? She's like, I did number them. Oh, wow. So, as you know, we always want to do education. Education is first, you know, learning is growth. And when you grow, you know, you evolve and so on and so forth. And on this podcast, we like to do word of the day, things of that nature. So today's word is, anybody want to guess what it is? Of course you don't know, because I got the script. It's remiss. And remiss is an adjective, right?
Right.
All right, so a remiss means lacking care or attention to duty, or just basically be negligent. So anybody want to use it in a sentence? Or y'all want me to take it? Because you know I like to talk.
Yeah.
Nobody, okay. They say, well, I'ma say, if you will, it'll be very, very, very remiss of you to come to any other barbershop other than South Crown Barbershop.
Perfect.
Yeah? Did y'all get that?
You hit it on the head.
Okay.
Say it again. Say it again. So
I said you would be very remiss to go to any other barbershop, any other salon, any other spa, any other place other than the South Crown experience. You would be remiss to do some shit like that.
Remiss.
Yes.
R-E-M-I-S-S.
R-E-M-I-S-S, as you said.
Got it.
All right. So, moving along. Now that y'all know something, now you can go use that in a sentence.
No.
My dog.
Oh.
So, here we go. Question of the day. Let's see who tuned in last week. Y'all guess what my question of the day is going to be.
I saw an interview.
All right, this is the question. If you was tuned in, shout out to to Adrian for inviting us to Ash last week. We had a really awesome time.
How dope
We
is that?
did it live from their spot. They set us up. They had free appetizers and like crazy drink specials. We brought like maybe 45 to 50 people in. It was like a really good look, and he wants us to kind of do it on a regular basis. So we were trying to figure out how we're gonna do that. This shit is really crazy.
So,
But
so is it like a month-to-month thing? Like once a month?
something like
do
that. I don't know.
Does
we shall
First
see.
Friday reach them?
I don't know.
I think it's just the South Town.
Yeah, they're the ones really, we don't know what's really doing first Friday, first Saturday, and all that good stuff. So, but anyway, shout out to Adrian, man. Plus, he gave a super dope interview. So, if y'all missed it, make sure you go to iTunes, all that good stuff, SoundCloud, or just go back on our Facebook feed, and you can catch that show. It's a really good show.
I didn't
But,
realize I had how much drinks I had. That was my backpack.
yeah, you got it.
I got straight down.
Was that his
That was
his backpack. He came
I was
back.
like,
Yeah, because they thought it was mine. I was like, whose bag is that?
I was straight up.
grabbed a bag.
I was straight up like on West Avenue somewhere, and I'm pumping gas, and it just dawned. I was like, "Yo, you left your backpack." Fly back down. Yeah, shout out to Ash. It was a great spot.
Great spot, man. Great spot. Definitely a really good spot if you need to do any catered events, anything like that. It's a very good spot. They have the smoke is also the restaurant that's there. It's got 3 levels, top floor, the floor level.
They got a balcony?
Then they have a basement. They have a balcony in there too. We threw my daughter's Sweet 16 there. Epic event. She loved it. Everybody loved it. We had a blast. So yes, definitely check it out. It's over there off of Commerce and all that good stuff. So question of the day. What 3 things, y'all listening? What 3 things did I say that I told my wife when I first met her? Do you remember that question?
Yeah.
Remember when I said that?
Yeah.
So if you tune in on Facebook,
Yeah, they got
whatever the case,
it.
you got to be the first person to post the answer to that. I told my wife when I met her, because what we were talking about is honesty and always being honest and upfront, and how that's just always the best policy. And when I met my wife, it was a few things that I told her like within the first few minutes of us like talking some serious stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm XYZ, and if you rocking with that, cool, and if not, cool. And I gave y'all already too much for a
many
hand.
clues.
Too many clues. So, so shout out to who's all on Facebook right now. We got Marcos on there. We got Mike Bird.
I think you should give them till tomorrow, so the people that are like gonna watch it later on tonight or watch
No. It's all
the
about
people that
now.
are watching now.
Nah, you know how people are. People are gonna be chiming in a day and a half later.
Well, no, they need to tune in now. No,
Well,
bump
they're
that.
busy, man.
Then that's on them.
It's not on them. It's
Listen,
on,
man.
It's on us. It's on us to give them this platform and give them time to let all this shit marinate.
I feel you, and that's real nice to know. But we got people that do. We got people that are right now making it to where they make sure they catch this shit. And for those people that are like the diehards, that's really down for the movement and really gonna like set their schedule around us and knowing we be late and all that, this is for them.
Okay.
To everyone else, we love you. We love you just as much. But that effort is what I'm trying to.
This is
to give attention to.
See, this is a free haircut we're talking about here.
Yeah, but it's
No.
It's not,
A
yeah,
free
it's not a shirt.
haircut.
It's a haircut.
This is a free cut.
Don't look at me like
Come on, man, it's a free cut.
Okay, so what? 2 against 3.
This isn't a glass of water.
This is democracy.
Yes,
Free cut.
we voted.
So,
I voted.
so then what should it be? Because I'm just ready to give. I'm a giver.
Give them a few days.
A few days?
Give 'em-
No.
No, I
I'm
think just
cutting-
a day.
What's today? The 27th?
Tomorrow, I'm
Give
working.
them till tomorrow.
Give it to the first of the month.
Why? So they can go look up the old video and do. No, I want to know.
True.
No, I
Okay.
want. No,
You're
fuck
right.
all that. First of all,
You're right.
screw
They're
what
gonna
they
do
said.
But if they go look up the old
It's a
video,
right
then we
now.
get views.
Well, that's cool. That's cool, but that's not the purpose of this shit.
You're trying to win, man.
Okay.
No, you're
Oh,
not. You're trying to be.
interesting.
No, I want the team, us. We want to
We
win.
are winning.
Interesting.
We woke up this morning.
I'm trying to
We
get
winning.
views. But it's a bonus if we get the views.
Man, listen, I don't care about the views right now. I care about the person that's caring about us right now. The person that stopped in life and that said, hey, fuck that.
Okay.
I put my kids to bed early or whatever the case.
So,
I'm catching details
For
shit.
these people watching right now.
This is for the people. I got some for the other people too. We got some for y'all, but right now this is for the people that are
yeah,
tuned
the
in
people
now.
that are tuned in.
Like Marcos, like
do
tuned in.
y'all know the answer to the question?
Yeah, right now.
As
You
of now, speaking, the people
You.
watching
on the
on Facebook.
holla at me. So let's keep it going.
At the end of the show, there better be an answer.
All right, and if not, hey,
Then
better
nobody
start
got a
tuning in.
haircut.
Nobody
Yeah.
got a haircut.
Man.
So, and
Tune
if
in
you
next
did,
week.
so make sure you paying attention to this joint because we're
Yeah.
gonna ask us. We're gonna do the same trivia next week, but I'm gonna trick you. It's always gonna be some kind of trick. Anyway, so
Interesting.
all right, that's your talk. All right, so today I know. Well, I'm glad we're having fun and bringing levity to the show, but really today's show is really kind of on some serious shit. And it's something that is going to affect everybody, that affects everybody in some shape, form, or fashion. And today we're going to be talking about, drug abuse and the effects that it's having on our culture, on our community, and just personally ourselves, what that's doing to us and how that's pushing us back. And then we want to also discuss about the difference between what they call the crack epidemic and the AIDS and what they're calling an opioid crisis now. So, we're going to be touching on that kind of stuff today, but we want to also give
Lizzie.
some time and talk about Demi.
Yeah, Demi Lovato.
Yes, you want to speak on that?
So Demi Lovato just suffered from a drug overdose. She's awake right now and responsive. Demi was out Monday night celebrating at a friend's birthday in West Hollywood, and we're told she posted photos on her private Instagram of herself and others in the group. She seemed happy in the pics. Later, Demi Lovato was rushed to an LA hospital after suffering what appears to be a heroin overdose, law enforcement tells TMZ. Our sources say Demi was transported by an ambulance from a home in the Hollywood Hills just before noon Tuesday and is currently being treated. But now she's at her home in Hollywood Hills and she's doing good. But she's like with her family right now and recovering and all that.
So we haven't heard anything from her.
No,
We don't know
she's-
what happened. She
It was
tried.
heroin. She OD'd on heroin.
I bet you she was just partying.
Yeah, she was out on a friend's birthday.
You know how people are,
Took it a little too far
Right.
and
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
At the same time, it was kind of surprising to me. I didn't think that she was, and that was
her choice.
her thing.
Why? But you just never know. And that's the
never know.
thing. That's the thing about drugs. Like one of the things, like and I'm speaking from experience because I've been down that lane where I was stuck in a drug at one time. But it's like one of the first things you learn on when you own drugs is how to cover up that shit, how to pretend that you're not, and hide it. You become an artist of hiding your addiction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't know until it's too late a lot of times. And then you look up like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You 30 pounds light. I'm on that Herbalife. No, it's playing. Just playing. But anyway, so like real quick, I want to kick out some things that I was looking up. They have to do with, where this country is and like a couple stats based on drug use. And y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because I got family here tonight. I got my close friend, Dr. Courtney Kenny in here. I got my cousin, Taurus Felix. He's also in the medical field, certified with it all. He's like my go-to guy anytime I even sneeze one time, I'm calling him and he's there. Whenever my parents are going through it, he's there. So we got some educated people in here with some real information, some real background, some real experience, and some real know-how and tell it to you straight so that we can grow and evolve as a people. So with that being said, we got, here's some real shit. Listen. And my wife will be listening because she knows she'd be like, boy, you better make sure you can read. Prescription drug abuse. Prescription drug abuse is a serious and growing problem in the United States. The 2016 National Study on Drug Use and Health reported that an estimated 28.6 million Americans aged 12 and over used illicit drugs during the month prior to the study. That means roughly 1 in 10 people struggle with some level of substance abuse. Wow.
Say it again for people that weren't listening.
That says that means roughly 1 in 10 people struggle with some level of substance use, including addictions to prescription drugs.
I think the most part about that we don't ever grasp is that prescription drugs are also drugs, and you can abuse them. And just because your funky ass doctor gave you a pill or told you could take it doesn't mean that you can just go ham on
Well, that's funny. That's crazy you said that because I was just. It also says that as far as teenagers go, that many teens believe that prescription drugs are much safer than illegal street drugs just because they are prescribed by a doctor.
Doctors don't care about you. I like that.
Not all doctors are like that. We got some doctors that really do give a shit.
They just want your money.
Well, I mean, I know the drug game is a business. It definitely is a business, and that's why we want to have somebody with some real knowledge and info on here.
And that's why
speak on.
That's why we're doing this episode.
Exactly. Well, back to what was the drug? Heroin she was on?
Yeah.
Okay, this says let me see. Because it's cheap, because of the cheaper price, heroin has become the drug of choice for many who are addicted to opioid pain relievers. Approximately 3 out of 4 new heroin users misuse prescription of opioids prior to using heroin. So damn. So basically, they get prescribed the real drugs or the prescribed drugs from the doctor. Can't afford that, get off it, but now they have an addiction, and so
they keep up with it.
right.
Yeah.
So they go get on some
Street
what they
shit.
call it dog food. What they call that shit.
That's what they call it?
That's what I heard. It was in a rap song. I heard a rapper
My
say
mind
it.
is peeling right now. Wait.
And that's the first drug I could think of. It's called dog food. Yeah.
Heroin?
I would ask somebody here, but I don't want to tell on nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We protected back up here. Run up here more.
I'm gonna Google it. Anybody's listening? Can someone just Google it? 5% bad.
All right. So you know what, man? Without further ado, let's bring on my first guest. But before we bring her on, I first want to say this young lady, I've known her since she was probably a teenager, like young, like maybe 13, maybe I don't know, 25 years or so ago. And I've watched her grow up, mature. I've watched her become such a wonderful person. She's my wife's best friend, one of my wife's close best friends. She stood in our wedding, so that just lets you know how close this person is and how much she means to us. And she's just adorable, her whole family for that matter. Rest in peace to her father. And her brother also, my boy Paul, the whole Kennedy family. They just some really awesome individuals who are just like loving you. Like you get around them, you're gonna evolve, you're gonna grow, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna have a good time. And that's what she's all about. She entered into this game to help people and support her child and all that good stuff. So Courtney, if you can make your way up here, where Courtney at? Come on up here. Y'all see we got sound effects now. I see you got sound effects now. You heard a little clap. You might not have heard me working on it, but that was a little clap sound. So yeah, come on in here, Courtney. Man, let's get another round of applause. Please. Courtney, how are you doing? How's your day?
I was off, so I
You was
mean,
off?
just being off of work just made me really happy. I wasn't in Walgreens, so I'm good.
Oh, that's right. That's the spot.
That's the
Okay,
spot,
so
yes.
Courtney, tell me, let's because I don't want to waste nobody's time. We want to get right to it. Tell me
Okay.
what made you become? What are you first of all? Tell us about yourself. Well, all they know is your name.
Well, I'm Dr. Kenny. I'm a pharmacist. I have my PharmD. Graduated from the Fike School of Pharmacy in 2013. So yeah, I'm a pharmacist.
Pharmacist, that's it. They say something go over here. Yeah. Hey man, I'm telling you, Black Girl Magic.
That's
There you go
right.
again.
There it goes.
So what made you want to become a pharmacist? And give us the real answer. Like, this is the Detailed Data Podcast. We come one with it.
Okay, so real answer. Senior year of college, I got pregnant, graduated. I literally had my daughter a month after graduation, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I was going to school.
Pregnancy didn't stop you from graduating?
Oh no, I was done. I mean, I finished Xavier in April, so I had a degree. I had my daughter that September, so I was already done. But all my friends were like, med school, you can still go, I guess, but who's gonna watch your baby when you're doing rotations? Who's gonna watch your baby during residency? Y'all have a very good point. So I wasn't the kind of person to put my child off with my mother and my father. She was mine, so I was like, well, I have to do something different. For like 2 years, I was a financial advisor. I hated it. And literally, I was on my couch, and I tell you, nothing but God, he said, be a pharmacist. And I was like, be a pharmacist? Oh, okay. I got on my computer, Googled schools, saw that there was one that had just opened in San Antonio. PCAT was coming up. I didn't study for it. I remember I walked in. My cousin was like, oh, you're taking the PCAT? Yeah, I guess. Took it, did horrible. Still applied to pharmacy school, and by grace of God, I got in, and here I am. I'm a pharmacist.
Hold up. I'll be listening with my third ear. Shout out to Drum Master. They always talk about listening to third ear. But she said, something told me, God told me to pharmacy. First of all, you have the presence of mind to not ignore that.
I don't know.
Because a lot of people, God send us signs all the damn time. So you're like, whatever. But you heard it. You went with it.
I did.
Didn't pass did horrible on the.
It did horrible. It's not a pass or fail, but it's just a score. And my score was, oh Lord, horrible. And I was just like, well, we'll see. But the good thing about, I will say, Incarnate Word is that they look at you all around. They look at your grades, your community service. So I had bomb grades from college. I had great community service. My PCAT scores were just whack. But they still gave me a chance. They were like, well, you passed the first round, come to interview day. And then interview day, you do that, and then you get weeded out from that. So, me.
Interviews,
So
kill that.
interviews, yeah, they're good.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? That's dope. I just like the fact that you persevered, you stuck with it.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people quit, a lot of people have kids and that's the excuse.
That was my motivation.
That was your motivation.
Yeah, I was a single mom. I had to take care of my daughter. So
But there's a lot of young girls out there, there's a lot of people out there that are in that situation, in school, trying to grind, end up getting pregnant, whatever the case may be, life happens, and that knocks them off their course, but you stayed in the fight no matter what.
Oh, of course. I mean, I do it. Well, at the time, I did everything for my daughter. I just wanted to be able to take care of her, make sure she was good, make sure she had everything she needed, money for college. She is my, at the time, because I have 2 daughters now, but she was my driving force. So, yeah.
That's dope. Round of applause for that.
She was-
Hey, we didn't use the sound effects here. Shout out to Lizzie, she's on it.
I'm
Ready,
learning.
Turn, clap. So let's get to the business. So,
All right.
my first question: what, as a pharmacist, what exactly is your role?
Wow. So in a
You a
nutshell,
drug dealer.
I am.
You the
I'm
man.
a legalized drug dealer.
You-
It makes me mad when people say, "Well, can't you just hurry? All you do is count pills." No, boo. I don't just count pills all day. My job is to make sure that doctors aren't killing you, because when you go to multiple doctors and different physicians, they all don't necessarily know what you're taking. So at my pharmacy, my job is to make sure that the drugs you do have and the drugs you're currently being prescribed, they don't interact with each other. A lot of times they do. And I have so many patients who are like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for you. My doctor had no idea that A and B mix, and oh my goodness, you know, so my job is to make sure that you're
safe. Database
safe.
for all doctors to where it's like,
Oh no, not at all.
they don't communicate amongst each other?
No, there's too many doctors, no.
Oh,
No, nothing like that. So that's why pharmacists always tell their patients, like, hey, please fill all your scripts at one store. Don't go to this one and that one and the next, because then we don't know what you're filling anywhere else. But if you just go, let's say, strictly to Walgreens and all your drugs are filled there, then my computer can run a check on everything in your profile and I can know what's going on. So no, I just don't count pills all day. I do a little more than that.
Let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on this opioid crisis?
It's sad.
Where does the fault lay, in your opinion, or your professional opinion? What is it because you have people out there that say, you got doctors out here just overprescribing pills, and it's adding to, like, right now in America, there's multiple medicine cabinets all over the country with leftover pills that are just at the disposal for these children to get a hold of.
That's true.
Because pills are like the new crack. Like, you can sell that shit. Like, it's people all the time. I'm like, I got them bars. I got this. I got that. I got Zans.
You're absolutely
whatever.
right. It's a what's the word? Like, it's everybody's job. So not only do you have pharmaceutical companies pushing their medication, you have doctors pushing to the patients, but then you have bad pharmacists who just don't care. Like, at the end of the day, my job, I have a responsibility to dispense prescriptions that I personally feel are issued for a legitimate reason. And if I don't feel like it, oh, trust me, I am the one who will report to the DEA. I will be like, I'm not going to fill this. I've done it before.
I've never walked into a Walgreens or any CVS and got my medicine, and anyone ever hesitated with it.
Oh, let me tell you, I had a man the other day, he was so pissed at me. I wouldn't fill his meds. He was like a doctor shopper. He had been to like 7 different doctors, 6 different pharmacies. No, he knocked down all the diapers on the way out, knocked down all the chips outside the store. He was hot. I was going to give him his script back and I wasn't going to fill it. No.
But you have the authority to do that.
I sure do. That is my responsibility. That's my right. I have the option to fill or not fill your medication.
Even though a doctor has said, hey, she needs this, you can say no.
And I'll call one doctor, he dispensing 16 ounces of syrup to somebody. He had arthritis stuff.
16 ounces?
One pint,
what kind of
yes.
syrup?
You know?
Promethazine, don't
No, because I want to get into that. Like, that was actually one of my questions.
Promethazine and codeine, and it was literally 16 ounces. And I called their office, and I said, look, you are arthritis doctor number 1, and for the past 7 months, you've been giving this woman a pint every month. For what? And so he got on the phone, and we're talking. I said, you got 2 options right now. You can either void the script and cancel it, but I can report you to the DEA, and you can explain to them, since you don't want to explain to me, why you're doing what you're doing. And he was just like, well, just cancel it. Okay, I will. And I will continue to check and monitor what you're
Can
doing.
they go
if I
somewhere
can.
else after you cancel it?
No, it was my script. So they can go get another script, but I can always log on somewhere and find out. Yeah. If that patient filled the same medicine with that same
Because
doctor.
that is the new hustle.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
man, I'll be 100 with you. Like, we grew up in the syrup. This is Texas, first of all. So this is home of the syrup. Anybody out there sip the syrup, you're welcome. And stop. But that shit is a screw Houston thing, and like it's worldwide now, but it's an epidemic. And I remember back in the Gap when you could get a fucking gallon for like $30, and now an ounce,
Yeah.
so I heard, is $100.
Yeah. So I
So to me, I was telling somebody today, if you sipping syrup, you're a drug dealer.
pretty much.
You have to be. Who can afford? Man, you see how high milk and gas is?
Thank you. But
So that's a 20 ounce for a 20 ounce of soda. You put an ounce of promethazine and codeine.
pay $100 for the balance.
You basically sipping $100 20 ounce Sprite.
You
So
can
you
come
gotta
see
do
me
that
at the
whole
Rustic
shit.
any Friday. You can drink ounces of tequila.
Nah, but it's real out
Ounce of-
there.
I got 100 ounces of tequila. I can serve that to you. Like,
No, but it's real out there. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I dibbled and dabbled and coming up. And it's, the high is basically fighting sleep. That is the high. Like trying to, I've seen boys fall asleep at lights, like at a red light, like you pull up and this guy is in his car, money in his lap, a cup, and he's asleep. Hit the horn and keep moving.
Yeah, so I think the question was just like who's responsible? It's everybody, you know, it's the doctors, it's the pharmaceutical companies, it's the pharmacists, and that little trifecta there is what keeps it going, because you've got doctors who I will say don't care. You have pharmacists.
So let's talk
who
about
don't
crooked
care.
doctors. Because
Oh, yeah.
I've heard, I know people that have told me, hey, I can see you to my doctor, he'll give you whatever you want.
Yes, sir. They're out there.
He's not even gonna ask you no questions.
Nope. It's a combination
What do you say to that? Like,
It's sad, but
is that an integrity deal? Like, that's.
oh, I mean, people say, well, is it pharmaceutical company? In a sense, yes. I mean, I did a little research, you know. So there was a CNN Harvard study showing the correlation between pharmaceutical companies paying doctors and the amount of prescriptions doctors prescribe. So the more money they got, the more prescriptions that followed. However, of course, they have to report this money, and it's reported as money for speeches, money for travel, money for hotels, money for convention, money for this and that and the other. So you can't flat out say, yeah, right, this is money for you prescribing these medications. You can't do that. But the correlation is ridiculously high. So it's just like, what else is it? You know what I mean? And then you have doctors who, the more patients they see, obviously, more money you get paid. I mean, the more money you can bill to their insurance for a visit, and why stop?
Well, but to me, it's damn near all a hustle, because I've been to the doctor, and in the beginning, they threw me something free. You know how the drug game go? Your first one free, second one, might be second one if you the man like that. And they just give it to you, and then once you're like, yeah, that was good, doctor, like, cool, let me write you this script. So it's like, to me, it's all a hustle. Like, it's all, you know, and like, why so many drugs? Like, why don't we do more natural things? Why? There's so many natural ways to cure a lot of things. Why are we putting all these drugs?
It's a billion-dollar industry. Are you kidding me? Do you
Natural
know
probably doesn't pay as much.
do you know how much money OxyContin has made since 1995?
How much? Billions?
Billions. They have made billions of dollars. They had a lawsuit in 2011. They got criminal conviction for basically misleading the public and misleading doctors by reporting that OxyContin was better because it was, you know, long acting and it wasn't going to cause as much abuse or as addiction, and they knew that it would. So they misled the public and these doctors by saying, no, this is a much better medication for your patients who have severe pain or who come from surgery. And it went from being marketed as that to just being marketed for a drug for chronic pain. And it was never supposed to be that. And so...
They took it off the market since then, right?
No.
They changed the name or anything like that?
No, OxyContin is still around.
I was just saying
that's a good segue, because I have a question.
No.
And so I noticed there's different levels of different like drugs. It's not just like regular drugs. There's levels to it. Like what's the difference between like a narcotic, opioid, or like Schedule II drugs and all that kind of stuff? Because I heard, you know, shout out to Lil Wayne, that's my guy. But I remember on the end of a song, it was something he spoke on. He was like, you know, cocaine, for instance, is like one type of drug, but then when it's created into crack, it's another drug. But they get different charges on them. So like, if you have cocaine, you might, let's say, for instance, you might get a year in jail. But if you get caught with some crack, but you cannot even, crack would never exist without the cocaine,
Exactly.
you get 100 years for that. So I
That's
think
a whole other topic.
that is, but it
But,
speaks to like the different level and the different types of drugs.
Well-
What's the difference, first of all?
those drugs, crack, cocaine, heroin, any illicit drug is considered Schedule 1. So you've got 1 through 5. So there's no difference between, now when you're talking about what you're charged with and the jail time you get, that's on a whole other level. That has nothing to do with like what
We
Schedule
got
1
Brandon
is.
for that. What's up? You next. You got it.
But in terms of like what a Schedule 2 is, a Schedule 2 is pretty much any substance that has a high potential for abuse. It has to be used for medical purposes, of course, and that substance can lead to severe psychological or physical dependence. So that's what a Schedule 2 drug is. So Schedule 2 is not just narcotics or opioids. I mean, Schedule 2
What
drugs.
is weed?
Nothing. We schedule more.
Damn right, it's nothing. Continue.
But even so, people are like, well, what about like Adderall, Ritalin, Vyvanse, any ADHD medication? Those are still Schedule II drugs because they have the potential for abuse or the potential to lead to a dependence, but they're not the same thing as a narcotic or opioid.
All right. So speaking of opioids, you notice that they calling this new drug deal that's going on in these suburbs and big places of that nature, in these different communities, they're referring to it as an opioid crisis.
It is.
What do you say about that? Because, I mean, to me, when you say opioid crisis, that, you know, words are powerful. And words send specific signals to specific people. And language changes the course of, you know, the thought process. And I say that because in the 80s, when the crack hit the streets and kids were dying and it was just a terrible thing that happened to the poorer communities, the ghettos and the hoods and, you know, young middle of America, that wasn't considered a crisis or an opioid addiction. Actually, that was, to me, a system created to lock a lot of people up.
Yeah.
But now that the same situation, basically in hindsight, is happening, but not happening in so much the hoods and the ghettos of America, for the black and the brown and these places of that, it's now considered a opioid crisis. And I have a feeling, I feel some kind of way about that, because it's a cry for help. And, you know,
I'll say this, you
what
know,
do you say to
statistically
that?
speaking, I don't know how many people die over, or in the 80s per se, were dying from crack overdose a day. But I know now it's about 115 people a day that die from opioid overdoses.
115 people a day.
Yes.
A day.
I had that statistic somewhere
Yeah,
too.
a day. So I can't compare. You know, I didn't look into crack cocaine or look into that. But is it an epidemic or a crisis? Yes, because opioid abuse affects all people, white, black, brown, white, you know, whatever. It's so your poor person, your rich person, it affects so many people. So I agree with the terminology that they've given it. Yes, it's because so many people are dying.
Well, I'm trying to go somewhere else with it.
I know you are. Me too. I understand.
So I mean, because it's not right. It's not, it's not fair, and it just goes to show how they look at the black and the brown
You're right.
skin color. You know what I'm saying? When when it's happening on the other side of the
Exactly.
fence, it's a crisis,
It's a
and it's
crisis.
something we need to do, and it's a cry for help. But then when it's like destroying all these families, because I mean, to be honest with you, families are still affected to this day because of what happened in the 80s.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Generations after generations are still stuck in this rut,
You're
in
absolutely
this
right.
mindset, and so I just want to bring attention to
I
that
think
because
with the opioid epidemic, what happens is, like I said, OxyContin hit the scene. It's almost grace for pain, but what people realized they could do was crush it and snort it, crush it and inject it, and the high was like instant, and that's where that addiction comes from. And then it's like, okay, well, I need more, and then you have doctors who are like, no, you should be good by now, let me cut you out. And it's so sad because now they're addicted to it, and again, it's an opioid, so what's the next best thing? Heroin, exactly, and heroin's way cheaper. So now you have not only people addicted to opioid drugs that are quote unquote legal, you've got people who are now addicted to heroin because it's cheaper and it's easier to get, and their doctor will no longer give them the OxyContin anymore, oxycodone, whatever.
wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So let me ask you this: like, I came up in a we came up. I consider you in my group. You younger though. You way younger. But I feel you.
I was around.
Yeah, you was right there. You and Lauren, shout out to Lauren. And so, the music we listened to growing up, they rapped about, selling the drugs to, get out and do what they gotta do to feed families.
Mm-hmm.
And this culture, they rap about taking the drugs, being on the drugs.
Yes, that's so different.
Do you think that the music plays a part in the use of drugs and all that?
Oh,
kind of stuff?
definitely. I do.
Cause I heard one song, the hook is just Percocet, Molly, opiate.
You like that song though?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
we
whole
listened
hard.
to it.
Anyway,
You like that song.
But I'm just saying, like, They
We
not
like
they
that
talking
song.
about taking it.
It's
And-
like brainwashing.
Yeah. Before, I get what you're saying. Before it's about selling it.
Yeah.
Now it's taking it.
It's
You're
like
right,
taking
absolutely right. Cause sorry, I don't like today's rap. But
And I mean, and, you know, and it's
So
important to me because I
lame.
have kids, and you know, I've been down that rough road of thugging and drugging and doing some of the worst shit, you know. And hopefully my experiences they just learned through my shit, you know. So, but I wasn't educated like you know I am now.
yeah.
So I try my best to educate my kids and don't hide shit from them, and you know, and speak about these things. Because a lot of kids now, the big thing now, you know, I was so happy that marijuana is finally becoming legalized everywhere, right? But then, you know, I realized that it's not that great in a sense that now that it's so out there like that, now they're making things such as edibles and you know, things that look fun to a child.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a child that gets a hold of a cookie, a brownie, or, you know, this shit, thinking it's cool because, I mean, it's good. It's a fucking Rice Krispie treat. Who don't like Rice Krispie treat? But you don't know the doses in there. You don't know what is going to hit you. And then it's a body high.
Oh yeah.
So, like, you got kids that are being hospitalized. I'm just like, shit, wait. Before, you know, you wasn't getting hospitalized for smoking a joint. You might have went to sleep and ate everything in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? You heard your heartbeat or some shit. But other than that,
Yeah.
you know, you didn't have to be hospitalized behind some weed.
I think today's generation is just they are looking for just like more and more and more. In a sense of like for instance, at work, if you buy cough syrup over the counter, I have to ID you.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
You know, and I thought like, why on earth would you want to chug bottle after bottle after bottle of cough syrup? For what? But then I looked into it and I realized what dextromethorphan was and what it did.
Dexter who?
Dextromethorphan.
Sound like a real person.
You know, you gotta be a
Dexter.
doctor to say that
He
shit.
was a
No.
white guy until you just.
I know.
Dexter.
But it causes hallucinogenic effects. Kind of like ketamine.
And when you mean
or
like cough
LSD.
syrup, are you talking about every cough syrup?
I'm talking about just your
Robitussin.
Robitussin, Delsum, just what you find in your general over the counter walking down coughing cold out at Walgreens. Yes, but it takes a lot of it to produce these effects. But parents don't understand. They're like, well, will my kid die? Yes, they can. I mean, it destroys your kidneys. I mean, like, what do you mean? Yeah, so they're just looking for anything to get that high. So if I can't get weed, I can't get Xanax, can't get this, I can't get that. What else can I get? I can just chug about 5 or 6 bottles of Robitussin and get the job done.
Wow. Easy way out.
So you know what? So I think this is even deeper then. Like, why are our children, or why is our country, or why is our nation want to get to that place? Why do our children
You
want
said
to
the
take?
music, the culture, like everybody makes. I think songs make being high, however you get there, like fun. Like when I was high, I had the best time. When I was high, I did this. It was great. And somebody's like, "Well, it's so great. Let me see what it's like." And I think music has a
So
really
how do
big
we save
influence.
our kids from falling into these traps?
It's hard. It's hard as a parent. I mean, they hear music at school, on the radio, with your friends. We're not always around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're not with your children spend more time at school than do at home.
That's right.
So
And that's what the influence is.
exactly. So it's hard to monitor what they listen to and what they see. So as a parent, you just have to make sure you're real with your child and make them understand that drugs are not all that it's cracked up to be. When I tell you I make Maddie watch Intervention, y'all can call me a bad parent if you want, but I make her watch Intervention. I say, do you the kind of life you want? Like, this girl is out here selling herself. She's doing all kinds of stuff. This person lost his family, his home, his wife, his kids, all for drugs, and she just looks at me and she's like, no, I don't want that. And I hope that
Right.
what she sees lets her know, like, I don't care what your friends tell you or what music tells you, like, this is reality.
Right.
When you're hooked on these drugs, you're willing to do
Right.
anything and everything to get the next high. You're chasing constantly. You can die from this. So
Facts.
So educate. It's pretty much
Exactly,
what it is.
yeah.
Educate.
I think it's deep. Yeah, I think it's very much so education. I think it's love. I think it's, you know, being in tune with your child, like, you know, having these conversations, watching these documentaries.
How hard
you
is
know,
it to
just
be in tune with
whatever.
a kid?
It's not hard. You know, they're part of you. They're one with you. So it's really a matter of you shutting self off and listening. Because their kids are on it all day. Their mind's not fucked over with all the shit we deal with, bills, you know, jobs, all this shit. Their mind is open and they're receiving it all times. Like my children, your children, brightest kids on the planet, they receive that shit. They get that shit. So it's a matter of, I think, us just staying in tune with them. You know, don't let your kid be locked up in a room all fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Like, go talk to them. Like, what's up? Like, you gotta give your teenagers and all that kind of stuff their space, but there's a, you know, there's balance with that. You know what I mean? Me, for instance, like, I give my daughter all the space in the world. However, she don't sleep on her phone. It's downstairs at 10 o'clock on the counter at night, on Sundays, no devices. You know, that's just a small thing. But that allows us to rip away from that shit and now be engaged with us. You know, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, so it's just small things. And that's just something I do, you know. That's in our house, that's what we do. But I just think it's important that, you know, you teach your kids this stuff. Bring Taurus up here.
No, not a problem.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Please
come over here.
stand by though. I'm gonna introduce my cousin Taurus, man. And he knows you stay right here.
Okay, stay right
Yeah,
here.
so, yeah, man. How you doing, T?
Great.
Man, I'm so appreciative of you coming in, man. You know, family, you know, so I know you probably been over there shaking in your boots wanting to chime in. You know what I'm saying?
Little bit.
But you know, I'm really on the, if you just tune in, this is the Detail Data podcast, and we're just trying to shed light on this thing that we're dealing with in this country, you know, dealing with drugs and the addiction, because, you know, me for one, I've been down that path and I've been on some hardcore shit that 99% of people don't come back from, but through the grace of God and divine intervention and people praying for me and really just believing in myself, you know, I was able to come back and be able to tell this story and try to help somebody else. And that's what I wanted to bring on, not just have my own personal perspective on it, but bring some people that are actually educated in the field, deal with this shit on a day-to-day basis, and tell you what it is. Because, you know, we want to come from a place of truth when we speak on it. So, Taurus, what's up, man? What's up, cuz?
What's up?
You know what I mean? What's the deal? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Hey, what do you think about what we're talking about, man? Like, what can you add to this discussion to help?
I think you guys have hit on a lot of great points. I think part of it is, in today's world, the medical field is going digital. I know you spoke about different medications, different doctors, different things like that. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a registered nurse, first of all. My expertise is in emergency medicine. So I see things like this all the time on a daily basis. We have.
What do you see the most?
The most, where I'm currently working, is individuals with mental health behaviors. Individuals who come into my emergency department on a daily basis seeking drugs, seeking medication relief. And while I can tell that up front what they're looking for, depends on the physician who's working. You can tell them that and they can say, hey, I'm gonna have to deal with administration if I don't give them this drug. And that's a choice they have to make. You know, do they want to deal with administration?
Yeah, wait, what do you mean when you say deal with administration?
Okay, so hospitals today, their reimbursements are based on 2% of their reimbursement is based on surveys that go out to individuals. So if you don't get a particular score on surveys, then the government will take 2% of your income. That income is millions of dollars. We're talking about Medicare reimbursements. That's millions of dollars. That's jobs. And so a huge turn in the medical field is customer service. Do you provide quality service? What is your, how do people like you? Yeah, I got something to Kool-Aid. Somebody made me something. Yeah, you know what, how do people like you? And so if people are complaining about you over and over, you're probably gonna get fired in today's medical field. It doesn't matter what type of doctor, pharmacist, nurse you are, you can be the greatest.
So what you're saying is you got to give them what they want, or you're gonna get fired.
It could lead to that.
Wow, have you heard of anything like this?
No, I mean, I don't work in the hospital, so.
You're
no.
on the other side.
I am. I mean, Walgreens still has surveys, but at the end of the day, it's my license. So if you want to fire me for not feeling something or doing something, I'll find a new job. That's how I feel. But I didn't know that the hospital
Oh,
was
yeah.
regulated based on surveys.
Oh, yeah, 2% of the income. Medicare reimbursement, surveys. So, you know, when it comes to that, like, we could get some Toradol, you know, and which is what I'm like, yeah, Motrin.
To who?
To whomever comes in.
No.
Toradol is a special.
Toradol?
Toradol's ketorolac. It's just a non-steroidal.
What is that?
So you know how you have ibuprofen
Okay.
and you have Aleve? They're in the class of NSAIDs, and that stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So ketorolac falls into that same category.
I love
So
I love when black girls talk smart.
You're not gonna get any highs, any nothing special.
Right.
Just pain relief essentially.
Right.
All right, so let me ask you this: like, so you got people out there, you know, such as myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people, and sometimes I get pains and aches. I be on my feet all day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I might have a cousin. I know his back be hurting.
Right.
I know he might have something in the cabinet.
Right.
I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
I'm gonna say, hey, cuz, you got anything left over? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause you know, so there's people like me out there. But I mean, I don't think I abuse it. But I know my wife be on my ass. She be like, who shit is this? This is not your name.
Let me chime in. So it's one thing if you calling cousin every day.
Okay.
It's another thing if you calling me every so often. The doctor said, yo, they pain seeking. Let's get them in. Let's get them out. Let's give them a Tylenol. Not even 500, 325. You're not even getting extra strength. We're giving you one regular strength Tylenol. And I'm going to tell you before I give you that, you can go down the street and buy it for $1.
Right.
So usually people get them and leave when they know that.
So do you think addiction is, do people have addictive, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like addictive spirits or like you know, or do you think or addictive personalities or they're like, you know, I think sometimes that has something to do with it maybe, or no?
So if you look at some research, you'll find that the majority of people who are prescribed narcotics do not get addicted to it because they take it the way it's supposed to be taken. So if you're coming to me as a medical professional and I'm in the hospital because I worked everywhere, right? And you're saying, you're coming to me, say you got a family member and I'm your family member and you're telling the doctor, hey, he's on heroin, don't give him this drug. I don't care about the fact that he's on heroin. That's not my job. It's not my job to worry about if he's going to get addicted to it. My job is to take care of that client's pain right now. And that pain is whatever he says it is.
Exactly. That's the problem. The pain is so subjective.
Right.
There's no pain monitor, no pain scale. It's whatever I tell you.
They be like, on a scale from
1 to 10.
11.
Can I circle back real quick? I talked about the substance abuse counselor, right?
Uh-huh.
And so what she brought to my attention is that, hey, have you ever thought about that when that person comes in who's on heroin and you've already given them 4 milligrams of morphine, which is quite a bit for any normal person, and it didn't do anything for them, that all they can think about is my body is responding and I'm still in a lot of pain. So that pain to them, although in my mind I'm thinking they just want to get high, that pain to them is real. And so on her end, that's what she's seeing, that's what she's dealing with. Never thought about it that way.
But what about this? I was reading somewhere like heroin will take over your body to a point where like you may not want it, but you have to have it in order to just function. So what happens to the person that's prescribed some opioid, can't afford it no more? I guess now he's addicted, so now he has to. They feel the need to have to turn the heroin. Now they're on this cycle. Like, how does one, like, how do we fight that? That seems like.
So from a medical professional, once I fixed your pain, now it's your job to go get help for being addicted to whatever you're addicted to. That's an entirely different issue. My job is to take care of whatever that issue is right now.
So shouldn't the healthcare system be set up to where it's okay, if we know we're prescribing this person this fucking level 80 drug, you know, it should automatically come with a program after you get off of it. Like, that should go hand in hand. Like, you pay for the drug, that comes with this little fucking class to educate you or to help you wean or to help your mind, you know, whatever. Because I guess that's what the drug pharmaceutical companies know, is that you get hooked. You're going to keep coming back. You're going to keep coming back.
Well, I think it's no different than, say, the video games that kids are playing in today's world, right? Because those video games are set to elicit the same type of chemical responses in the brain that you get from opioids. So that is why kids will play for hours on end. And when
Listen
you
to school.
tell them to put their phone down, you may see some of the similar reactions from them that you may see in someone who don't have drugs.
Right.
Irritability, frustration, anger, withdrawal, depression. You see those same things.
That's true.
So many companies are set up to get you hooked on everything. That's just the world we live in. So I'll say this: you talked about addiction and what do we do when they become addicted? Should there be a program? How many times have you been given a medicine? And I think we can all attest to this. You've been given the medicine, you've been told to take it this way, and you go home and you take it however you want to take it. An antibiotic, you're supposed to take it for 7 days, you take it for 3 days, you feel better, and you're going to save the rest for later.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. A pain medicine, you're supposed to take it every 6 hours, but that pain is here, I'm going to take 2 today because I know it's going to help. So if people took the drugs the way they're supposed to be taken, and they followed the actual orders that they're given,
I don't know,
maybe we don't have this issue.
Well, maybe if they didn't make drugs that had where the warning for the drug, the play out of it on the commercial is longer than the commercial itself. That shit should come with that kind of thing, because they'd be like, this drug might kill you, you might die, your ass might bleed, your dick might fall off. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's the long term?
That's the problem. You say long term. Certain drugs were never meant to be long term.
Yes.
And that's the issue. Like I said, when Oxycontin first came out, it was never intended to be for chronic pain. It was either for cancer patients, severe pain, because their blood cancer, they're eventually going to be hospitals, terminally or whatever, or for short-term pain for surgery, no more than 3 to 5 days. That was it. Because you're not going to get hooked to Oxy on 3 to 5 days. It's people who they were prescribing it for chronic pain. I had one lady, poor thing, a story about her, she had what did she have? Crohn's disease. This doctor prescribed Subsys. Freaking sprayable fentanyl in her mouth. Okay?
Wait, what?
You spray it. It's a spray.
Really strong morphine.
Exactly. It's like
So they got morphine
10 to 20 times stronger fentanyl.
in a canister.
No, it's fentanyl, but in a canister. So you spray it, right? For her pain for Crohn's disease. What in the hell? Why?
Abdominal pain.
Why? And she, poor thing, she was like, I was zombie-like. I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. And she was like asking her doctor, like, can you please give me something else? And this doctor, come to find out, was getting paid by the pharmaceutical company who makes Subsys to prescribe it. And he was like, well, it's either this or nothing at all. Well, obviously, you're going to go with that because your pain is still bad, you don't want nothing.
That's illegal, right?
Yeah, of course it's illegal, but I mean, he would never admit that that's the reason why he gave it to her. He said he gave it to her because that was what the best or the most optimal treatment for her was, and this is why, it's hard to argue that line
But
of.
don't you get a second opinion if something?
I mean, of course,
to me, like,
eventually
people
she
should follow
did.
their instincts. Like, all right,
And she
something
did,
ain't right.
but it's just the fact that she
Sometimes
was
it'd be too late.
exactly, and that this is what he was giving to her for damn stomach pain, Crohn's. I mean, granted, I'm not taking away from Crohn's disease pain, but that is ridiculous to be prescribed that for something so little, and that was the issue that doctors just kept giving out these opioids for chronic pain and long-term use, and that's where the problem happened.
So here's something that happens all the time, right? I get a patient come in and they'll tell me, I'm allergic to, so I don't even use the word Toradol, right? Because if you're a drug seeker person, you know that word. So I'm giving you some Ketorolac because that's a word they might not know.
Right.
And I can just give them that and get them out the door and I'm done with them, right? But when you come in and you tell me I'm allergic to Tylenol, Motrin, Toradol,
All the weak shit.
Atarax, Benadryl,
All the
and-
weak shit.
Yeah, I'm allergic to morphine, but I think that it starts with the D word, the la.
I can take that.
Yeah, I can take that Dilaudid, right? Much stronger than morphine.
I'd be like, no. It's all
Yes.
opioids. You can't take the same drug class. You can't take morphine. You can't take that. Sorry. No.
Wow.
Same structure. All goes to the same receptor. You can't take it.
Right. And then then like I've had a woman, like I literally know a woman, several people, right, who comes into the emergency department and she will take down your name, your license number, your everything. Now me, I don't care because I've been at this for a long time, so and I can justify what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But if you get a new physician, maybe you haven't been doing it so long,
That's scary.
that might scare them. So and then they say, oh, it's just easier just to give it a pill. So we're gonna take the easy way.
See over here, we ain't playing that shit over here.
And
in
me,
court.
I might say, yo, you can give her the pill, but me,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not doing it. But most people don't have that. We got a shortage of nurses, we got a shortage of doctors, we got a shortage of everybody in the medical field. So most people haven't been doing it that long, and most people haven't seen what probably we've seen. So when you got somebody coming in and they're threatening you and they're threatening your livelihood, you got to go home and talk to your wife and pay the bills. And you like, yo, all you have to do is give her a pill, and you chose to not do it, and now you home without a job. You got issues.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I wanted to segue into something a little bit deeper when you bring up home. So like, I wanted to bring up relationships, people that are in relationships with people on drugs, or like meeting people. Like, how do you know when you meet somebody if somebody might be potentially on something? Because in my thinking, I just assume everybody's on something, whether it's might be blood pressure pills. I'd have had somebody sit in my chair before and nod off in the middle of them talking about.
Well, a lot of people do that. I do that.
No. This is not that kind of nod. This nod has sweat beads everywhere. This nod finished the haircut, walked out the shop, and fell on their face.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? So like that kind of stuff. Like, but I want to speak more specifically to relationships and people getting into them. And when you meet people, you don't know who you're meeting sometimes. And sometimes you're meeting this person on something. I ain't gonna go to my kids here tonight. But, you know what I'm saying? We meet people and we don't know sometimes until it's too late.
That's true.
And then what happens? You're in love with this person and they got a motherfucking problem.
Well, let me speak to that. So they might have a problem, right? And sometimes, they've got a problem. They've probably been messing off your money and stuff like that. But there are services out there. Our Lady of the Lake, they got a service. You can go there and get counseling for counseling and that type of stuff.
What if you don't know? What are the telltale signs?
When that money starts disappearing, I had a guy come to my ER, right? This guy was a business owner, multi-million dollars. When he came to my ER, he had started doing heroin, moved to something else that was more addicted to that, moved to that, lost his family, lost
you're
everything.
missing my point. We not in a relationship yet. You don't know. The money ain't missing yet. I'm talking about when we meet
First
people.
meet somebody.
And you don't
go
know.
on a date. And you don't like
look at that
to
arm.
me.
Like you said earlier, they're good at hiding it.
When people are on things, they become masters at hiding that shit,
yeah.
and it don't get revealed until it's too late.
Nurses who shouldn't have between their toes.
Yep.
All right, well, I'll get deep with y'all. So when I was thugging and drugging and I got caught up, like my girlfriend then, Melinda, she had no idea. And she had no idea until it was way too late. She had no idea until I was getting arrested and they were putting stuff on the roof. And since I'm the black guy, based on what I had, she was a white girl, they automatically assumed that it had everything to do with her and nothing with me. And she's looking at me like, what the fuck is that? I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny because she really did not know
You're answering your own
what the fuck was
question.
on.
What do you look for? How did you hide it?
I was a master at it.
Okay, so since you're a
But
master,
listen, hold up. I wasn't really a master at it. And this is also something that we have to look at because I'm sure once Melinda, like my wife is not a dummy, first of all. And I knew she knew something was up. And a lot of times when we love somebody, we want to see the best for them. We turn a blind eye sometimes. And and I think she was naive to the fact because she just don't know shit about it. Not in that world whatsoever. Like, she don't even take Tylenol. She get a headache and she just, I'm gonna just deal with it. I'm like, girl, pop some. I got some shit from Uncle so-and-so. You want that? She's like, hell no, I ain't taking it. Anyway.
Dude, let me chime in.
Well, chime in on me, brother.
All right, so
It better be good.
you know, I was around during that
Yeah, you
bit
were.
of that time.
That's why you think I got family in this?
Right. So I wasn't naive
Hmm.
to what was going on. However, I loved you,
Hmm.
so I wanted to support you the best way I could.
Hmm.
And when individuals are in that situation, oftentimes they turn the blind, they put blinders on, and they don't want to see it. They don't want to acknowledge what's going on. And you know, a couple of times when you call me, I'm like, I understand. You know,
Yeah, when I sold you that TV from Rackspace.
I knew then.
I know you had to know. Rackspace TV. I didn't own that. But I made some money.
I knew then. Wait, I follow you around the city. I knew
That's
then.
crazy because he was lightweight. He was copying from me, making me think that he just won a good deal, but he was really keeping tabs on me.
Of course.
And that was real love.
All right.
I appreciate
So
that.
what I'm telling you is that the question is what do you do? So you try to love the person the best you can,
Hmm.
and you do the best for them that you can, and that they're willing to receive.
Okay.
You know, that they are willing to receive. You got to a place where you are willing to receive additional supports, right? So I say, hey, can't give you my clippers now, but now you're ready. I can give you these clippers that I got that I don't even use, and you can go do what you do with it.
All right, real quick, I gotta say it. Yeah, Taurus has been one of my. Everybody in my circle been telling me to be a barber before I became a barber. But Taurus, it's Nisha. They put like a whole set of clippers in my hand, and not like the Walmart shit. They put like they own 76s. People that know clippers, they about $300 for the clippers, just to make me cut their son's hair. It was like, hey, you can have these, and like no judgment, and I appreciate that.
You know, it's real love.
Yeah, and that was back when you had hair.
Yeah. I'm getting some more though. I'm getting some more.
I'm saying, you come back, yeah.
No, I got the text. I got the
Okay,
text.
got that.
But it's curly. I ain't even know. But we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
But no, because this subject speaks heavily to me because I went down that road and and it's like wow, you think how do people do that? You see somebody on drugs or homeless or whatever, you're like, man, how do they get there? But I can tell you how we get there. Sometimes that shit happens through depression. Like one thing leads to another. And it's all, to me, it's all law of attraction. It's all how you think. When you think poorly of yourself, you don't see yourself in a high light. In a high light, you feel bad all the time. You harbor these negative feelings. You will spiral down into a road that you don't know what's there, and things will come up. Like somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, I see you doing bad. I got this. This will get you some money." And when you in a depressed place, you fail, and you about to get evicted, and this, that, and the third. You take chances because first of all, your mind is not right, because your spirit ain't right, because you're in a depressed state. And these things can lead to different things. And for me, it led down the wrong path, and I started messing with certain things. I don't want to expound on too much because my children are here, but I don't hide from them neither. So I got into some things that led me down a path that was terrible. And I was in places, and I ended up being homeless, and I ended up having my car taken, and I ended up just falling the fuck off, and ended up in jail, and looking at doing 5 or 6 years. And by the grace of God, the police officer that just so happened to arrest me was a bad cop. He was arrested, so everything that he was under his name got dropped. So yeah, but that's that divine intervention. But anyway, I had a lady by the name of Melinda, who's my wife now, who when everyone was like, leave that motherfucker alone, she was like, nah, it's something about him. I don't know. I know he's stealing out of my purse.
Sorry, brother.
She was like,
saw and did what nobody else did. And that's all that matters.
Nah, you gotta know though. She would get paid on Friday, Thursday night, midnight. I'll go in the purse and get her debit card. And we barely pay the bills over this. And I would go take her money, her hard working money, and I would go buy some shit. And she's still with me to this day.
There you go. She's got you.
That's handing me some tissue right now.
She's got you.
But, you know, everybody's not blessed with people in their circle like that. I had a friend's mother. I had a pretty good circle. I had people like Taurus who allowed me to fall on my ass, but still kept ties, still kept an eye on me. You know, but at the end of the day, just because he loved me a lot, just because my mama prayed a lot, just because Mel was down for me to the day I might have died, it took self. You have to dig from within. Like, if you don't want it, the universe is not gonna let you have it. And I'm looking back, and I'm like, damn, I'm not supposed to be in this position. I got great parents. I got a good circle. I got people that actually care about me. I'm very ambitious, you know. So I had to dig extra deep. There was a lot of asking for forgiveness. There was a lot of, you know, having to bite the bullet and putting the pride to the side and just looking at self like, you put yourself here. Like, and once I was able to do that, once I was able to grasp a hold of like, damn, people really fuck with me. Melinda really gives a shit about me. Amani, my daughter, really cares about me. My son at the time, you know, these are things that should have motivated me, but, you know, that's that thing about drugs.
Yeah.
It will steal your soul. I mean, it was to a point where I got into an altercation with my father, and I was so blown out of my mind, I didn't even realize he put a gun out on me. Like, he's about to knock me off. And I didn't even know it because I was just so far gone. So like, but you know, I say all that to say this, like, you can come back. Like, I'm the man I am now because of the experiences I went through. But that drug shit, everybody that I was fucking with in that time, half of them are dead. One of them I saw a couple years ago. Dude I used to buy from. It's crazy, right? I'm in my element, cutting hair. Some random guy walks into the shop, sits in my chair, and I automatically recognize him because he looks worse than he did then. But listen, you think he recognized me?
Yeah.
You think he recognized me? And the whole time, I'm just cutting his hair thinking, should I tell him? Like, should I tell him? Because I'm looking at him like, man, you didn't come back.
Did you tell him?
Yeah, I did tell him. At the end of the cut, I was like, man, I turned him around, just looked at me in his eyes, I was like, man, you know who I am? So you don't remember me, do you? He was like looking. And all he could say, man, your eyes look familiar. I was like, yeah, because there's some meat on it now. It was like 100 pounds when we was fucking around. But, and I told him, and he was just like, damn, you look good, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, you like shit. But I didn't say that. But it was just a reflection. It was almost like looking in the mirror like, damn.
This could have been me.
This could have been me. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, and that's why this whole drug thing is close to me because, you know, I put my family through a lot of shit. You know, when you on drugs and you out here thugging, you think you just living your life. Nah, it's a mama somewhere praying that news clip ain't about you. It's a girlfriend, a mama, a child somewhere wondering where the fuck they daddy at or they mama at. You know, like, that shit don't just affect you. It affects everything. And then if you're really looking in hindsight and going forward, whatever a man does, it's going to affect his family for 4 generations. Like, we've been affected by shit that my great-great-great-grandfather did. You know, obviously it was some good shit, so we couldn't be here. But that's the legacy you got to think about. And I'm like, damn, is that how all my kids will grow up knowing that they daddy died on that bullshit. So I mean, I don't know, man. I got a little carried away.
In Lovato.
Yeah.
So the article talked about how she was given Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
So you speak about the opioid epidemic and what I think about it. It's sad now to me that anybody can walk in now and get Narcan. I don't have to ask you who it's for. I don't have to ask you why you need it. I don't have to ask you anything.
Yeah.
It's just, here you go.
What is Narcan?
I wonder why would they prescribe? So
What is that?
Narcan
It's
is
a reversal.
reversal,
Go ahead.
opioid reversal. So someone who's overdosed on any kind of opioid, you just, well, you can, there's nasal, but point is,
They got spray too.
Mhm. Once you give it to
They got
them,
spray. They got weed and spray cans.
it's not weed.
I'm just asking.
It's
Have
not
they
weed,
made
it's
that yet?
terrible.
It'll stop your high.
And it-
It's,
No,
it's
I
like
need-
the cops
I
pulling
need
up
the
on you.
TA
You
spray.
get
Just walk.
Yeah, but he's like said, it
Right
stops
there.
your high. So
Yeah.
you
Oh, okay,
overdose
yeah.
it, I'm gonna inject you somewhere
Oh,
somehow,
boom,
and then it brings you back because it
Mhm.
reverses the opioid
right.
effect.
Like
So,
Pulp Fiction.
um,
She OD'd and stabbed her.
That was epic.
Abortion.
But it just makes me sad knowing that we've come to an age where anybody can go get it because the opioid epidemic is just that bad.
Yeah.
That people are so worried about their loved ones or whomever that they're like, well, I just wanted it just in case. Man, it shouldn't be a just in case right now. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And so you can go to any pharmacy anywhere, and we have a prescribing doctor who's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like prescribing authority. You just write it under that person's name, and then if you walked in and said you wanted it, you're my patient, even if it was for your sister, your daughter, your mother, whoever it's for, and I dispense it to you. But the fact that we've gotten to that place is what
Do you
makes
be giving
me
them the
sad.
evil eye when you do it?
No, because essentially, I don't give them evil eye because it may not be for them. You know, I don't know who it's for. And 9 times out of 10, it's not for them. What heroin addict walks in and like wants some Narcan? You know, like no. It's normally a family member or just people who they give it out on the streets. Like they're like, hey, we've got Narcan for you if you need it, just in case one of your friends ODs and you're there. Please try to save their life. So no, I don't look at anybody sideways. It's just the fact that this is where we are.
Yeah, it's easy accessible.
Exactly. That has made me like, damn.
So is the convenience, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Like what's,
You can look at it from both sides. You look at the good thing is like, okay, well, it saved somebody's life. I.e., Demi Lovato, she's still here. Somebody gave her Narcan before the paramedics got there. Like she's here.
Right.
So
what do
yeah.
y'all think about the chips that they talking about putting in your boy? So like, say they got the chip and they got all your medical records in. So now when I go into the hospital, you just everything, all my history pop up.
So as I was telling you
See,
earlier,
you're
like
falling for the trick,
no.
man. See, I sold it to you.
No. What I was saying is earlier is like all your medical stuff is supposed to be
Accessible.
accessible and centralized, so that if I go to Dr. A and she prescribed me X and I come
I
to
can't
you,
get
Dr.
over-
B,
can't get over on
then-
Dr. B.
No, at least you
I
know.
have to get over it. Just like there's some things that just like just other day, lady who goes to a cardiologist on one heart medication and then went to like a psychologist for something else, and the two drugs just did not mix. And it was like, well, let me call your cardiologist and see, because either it's one or the other. You can't do both, you know. So we got to figure out what we're gonna do. We want to stop this or change that or whatever. So it would be really beneficial if Dr. A and Dr. B could be able to see what each other prescribe.
Right. So
Not
that-
necessarily trying to get over it in terms of what you're thinking. Yeah, that'd be good though too. Like Dr.
Right.
A gave Norco the other day.
Right.
You come Dr. B for it.
This sounds like this system I was talking about earlier that seems like it needs to be created.
it's already created. You talking about to know when the drugs have been given?
Like no, just like you should be able to.
Like,
like,
we are- we
Well,
know.
that's hospital. He's saying
Okay.
like every doctor, like could
Okay.
every doctor know what all the other
Like
doctors
if,
prescribe?
it's just like if Walmart and CVS
Well, that is
and these
created.
places all
Well-
share the same. Just like say the FBI, the feds,
Homeland,
the
yeah.
Homeland, everybody share the
Recording
same
all your
system.
conversations.
Yeah.
Then we probably be able to catch more shit.
Well,
But
that's
they
how
don't want to
controls
share
are.
because this us and
Well,
that's
that's not
y'all.
true. That's how I catch people. I log on to a centralized system,
Right.
and I can tell you, I'll be like,
You do
no,
your job.
I do. You went to CVS last week. No, sorry, but.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, I did. Yes, you did.
Yes.
August
And-
13th. You
and-
know, like,
and-
they're
So how
like,
can they say when I lost them, somebody stole
hey,
them?
yeah, you hear all kinds of stuff. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this until that day, And if you want to have Dr. call me and say it's okay to release early, I'll let it go. But I'll wait for his phone call. Happy birthday, be well, thanks.
Oh wow! I know they be tripping. So what's the worst like flip out you ever seen?
Oh
Have you
man,
seen a flip out?
let me
in a
tell y'all.
pharmacy?
Okay, this
Pharmacy.
real talk. Very first year out of pharmacy school, fresh off the pharmacy school boat, I'm working on Walsham Road. This lady come in. She
Walsham. Oh yeah, it's going down. I just left Walsham, man. Big Crown.
Yeah. So she wants her Xanax, and it's early. Lord Jesus. The lady fell on the counter, and she was like, oh Lord Jesus. And like she's crying and hyperventilating, and I'm just like my third week, and I'm just like, oh my God, what do I do? She was legit crying in the pharmacy. She fell on the ground. I was just like, ma'am, I mean, I can call your doctor. I don't, yeah. So she's my worst case that I had. But, you know, as you get further along in the pharmacy career, and I'm just not the one. I call people back. What is happening to me?
Hey, I'll tell you this: drug abusers are the best manipulators
Oh gosh, yes.
in the world.
The world.
I was just telling the substance abuse woman I was talking to, and I was telling her about how somebody got me one time, and I was so mad. Had a woman coming in, and she came in. It was like 2 a.m. She came with her little daughter, who's like 5, and she's telling me, "Oh, I got cervical cancer," and she got the whole thing on, and she's
Got
like,
the wig on?
Yeah, wig on. She's like, "I ran out of my fentanyl," and I'm like, "Oh, I got the little kids." She got the like,
She's a professional.
yeah, so I go tell the doc, "Hey doc, look, we got to take care of this one because you know I'm working in the second busiest ER in the city at the time, so I got like 30 deep outside, and this woman, so I'm like, all right, yeah. So I work a couple of more days, and she comes back the second day. Now she with her mama, and she got a different problem. And so the third day I work and I see her come back with mama and daughter. And the substance abuse woman told me something that I didn't think about. She said, well, did you perhaps think that maybe that daughter didn't want to see her mom in pain? So she wanted to support her in that.
There's good stuff out there tonight, man.
Yeah,
I really
feel like
appreciate
I
you guys.
vanilla.
I'll go for it. I know you're an addict, so go for it, man. Drink up.
Hey, I don't have issues. I am single. You can help me work on my issues.
Hold up, I thought you was
Glass
dating.
like that.
Wait a
Yeah.
second.
I
Should
thought
we
you
air
just
the
said we were
biz
done.
now?
I thought you just said we were done.
Oh no.
We got 5
man.
more minutes.
So listen, with that being said, I got a single brother over here, ladies. South Crown is always looking for new talent. We're always looking for people. So if you got talent, you're a king trying to carve some crowns up over here. We located down here in Southtown, San Antonio. We all about the environment. I mean, we all about the energy out here in Southtown. Shout out to my studio audience, my wonderful wife, my children out there tonight. Got Zay.
You're now tuned into the Detail Did It podcast. Come catch a fade.
God damn, boy, what's that? Some kind of weave or something?